Hey guys, it's Milma here with another Xcode tutorial. And in this Xcode tutorial I'll be teaching you how to create custom methods with parameters. Now, I've got a little text edit over here to kind of trying to describe to you what custom methods are and what parameters are. Now, custom methods are anything, basically. If you make an IB action and you call it makeButton, that is a custom method. If you create a void and you put makeButton, that is also a custom method. Now this one down here, this is a custom method with a parameter, which is the NSString title. Now the reason they're custom methods is because you made them yourself. They're going to be doing something specific. Like this one here makes a button on the screen. It might not, it could like make a character move up and down if it wanted to. It depends on what you tell this void or this action to do, and that's what makes it custom. Now, as you can see here, we go makeButtonWithTitle and then NSString title. Now, this bit here is still your custom method. This is just the title of the method, or what's called its signature of the method. And this is the parameter for the method. So, what you'll do when you call this method, instead of just saying self-makeButton to call the method, you'll say self-makeButtonWithTitle. And then instead of putting NSString here, you'll put colon and then, my button, like that. And that will be the title now for the button. So an example of this would be with a UIAlertView, where you say, UIAlertView, initWith, and then title. And instead of saying title like this, you pass in the string that you want the title to be. So that's an example of that. And I know this kind of gets a tiny bit confusing because it's a bit hard to explain. So let me just tell you what we're going to do today and show it to you, and hopefully you'll understand a bit better. So coincidentally, we're going to be making we're going to be making a custom method that will show an alert view on the screen. So let's create a new project here, single view application, and I'm going to call it make alert. And that will just make an alert view on my screen. So first off, we need to create our custom method. So to do that, I'm going to go to my viewController.h. I'm going to go down here, and in the implementation, we need one thing, and that thing will create the alert view. So like before, we're going to create our custom method, which is going to be void, and I'm going to make it createUIAlertView, if I can spell, UIAlertView, and then with title. And like I showed you with the button example earlier, we're going to pass in a string for the title. So we're going to go colon, NSString, and then we need to give it our pointer, which is basically its title, its name, close the brackets, and then title. So that is now the title for our alert view. But as we know, an alert view has a main text as well. So we're going to have andMainText. And this is also going to be an NSString. So star, and I'm going to call this mainText. And I put test over there by accident. It's text. Like so. So now we have a title and a text for our button, for our alert view. But now we also know it has cancelButtons and otherButtons. So we're going to add them as well. So with cancelButton, like that. That is also going to be an NSString. And I'm going to call that string cancelButton. And it also has other buttons, so the button, I can't spell, and that is also going to be an NSString, and I'm going to call that otherButton. So there we go. There is our custom UIAlertView method. Now these things don't have to be NSStrings. It can be an integer if you want. So if you want this to be an integer, just put int in there. And it's basically like creating a new object. So remember with NSStrings or UI labels, you have the star, but with integers and stuff, you don't have the star, so remember that. But for now, I'm just going to keep it nice and simple with just using NSStrings. Oops. Oh my god, NSString, there you go. So that's nice and simple. So now we need to actually create this method. So let's go into our .m. And under the view did load here, it doesn't really matter where you put it, but I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to create our custom method again, so createUIAlertView, and inside here we're going to create our UIAlertView. But instead of creating it normally, like, you know, UIAlertView_withTitle and then type out at quotes title, we're going to use our title parameter that's passed into the method. So I'm going to type out alert here because I have a code snippet to make this tutorial a bit faster. So you can see here I've got my custom alert view here. And instead of here with the title, instead of normally just putting, you know, at title like that, oopsie daisy, or whatever, I know it says tile, but instead of doing that, I'm going to pass in, oops, not doing very well on the keyboard today, I'm going to pass in just my title parameter like that, which is this parameter here. So when I initiate this action, I will tell it what the title is going to be. And same with the main text. So here I'm going to put main text. Cancel button, I'm going to put cancel button. And other button, I'm going to put other button, like that. And that will now create our alert view on the screen. Now we have one more thing left to do, and that is to initiate our create alert view action, to actually tell it to do something. So we're going to go into the view did load here, and we're going to go self create alert view, like that, and you can see our thing pops up. But as you can see here, instead of having colon NSstring title, we have a nice little box here that we can type into. So I'm going to have title here. I'm going to have a main text of, I know, main text, like so. Cancel button of just cancel. And other button of, I know, other, like so. And there is our alert view. So when this gets called, our alert view will pop up on the screen. We can have another one if we want. We can have two URL alert views pop up. So we're going to have another one, and this is going to be first. We're going to have a main text of this is the first alert, like so. Cancel button, we can have dismiss. And other button, say we don't want another button. Well, that's simple. We'll just say nil, and now we don't have another button. So now if I just build and run, you will see that on the actual fire, you see we have the alert here. You can see that's our first alert that we typed out. We can click other, and you can see there's our other alert, but instead it doesn't have two buttons, it has one button because we told it we only want one button. So there you go, guys. That's how you create the custom methods there. Now I have a bit more of an advanced example that I'll show you. Hey guys, I'm back with the more advanced example here, and as you can see here, I've got my custom method down here. Again, these are custom methods, but they don't have parameters in. But here is my more custom method, and you can see this method has the purpose of creating a new button here, and I have a new button that will have a title. You can see here the button will have an image called normal image and a highlighted image called highlighted image. We also have positions X as a CG float, and if we go down here to the second line, we also have positions Y for CG float as well, for position Y, and that's to position the button on the screen. So when I call this parameter, I can choose where I want to put the button on the screen. I can choose its title, I can choose what image it's going to be, I can say I don't want an image if I want, and finally you can see here we have a selector. Now for those of you who don't know what a selector is, it's basically the action that will get called. So a selector is basically an action or a method within code, and you can store it as a selector. So when I make this method, when I make my button's got to do something when it gets pressed. So that's what the selector's for. And now if we go into the .m, I can show you my kind of the method here. Now I know it's a bit too big to fit on the screen when I'm zoomed in. So I'll just cut a bit of it off so you can just see the main code inside. But you can see here I create a new button, and if the title exists, so if I've set the title instead of saying nil, then I will create a new button here with a rounded rect. I will create the new frame of the button with the positions X and Y that are passed into the parameter here and here. Oops, here. The length of the actual button itself will be the amount of characters the title have. So that's the amount of characters it has in the title times 20. to make it a nice length. You can obviously change this around if you want. And the width is going to be 37 because that's the default height, of a UI button. And of course I set the most important thing, the title of the button, with the parameter title that gets sent in here. Otherwise, if the title doesn't exist, then I'm going to be setting the images. So here I create a new UI button which is custom. I set the frame again to position X and Y. I set the size to the same size as the image passed in. Set the images here with the images passed in. And now with the all-important bit of setting the selector, you can see here I set action selector of the selector that's passed in. And then finally I add the button to the screen. Here are the two buttons here that the selectors are called, so the logs button 1 or button 2. And if we go to the final bit, view did load. Again, I know it's a bit small, zoomed out, but hopefully you can kind of read it. Here you can see I add one button here, and I add another button here. Now, you can see that I set the title in this one, and I don't set the images, I just put nil. You can see I set the position here, 8 and 20 on the screen, and my selector is the, oopsie daisy, that should be button 1. So as you can see here, I set the selector for button 1. And again, I do that for the second button. Now, I can just show you it kind of running here. If I just build and run, it's not going to be anything as dramatic as the UI alert views, but as you can see, it works. It adds two buttons to the screen. And this can be used for, let's say, when you're creating an image app and you want them to be able to add a new image, you can click add new image and it will add it to a certain place on the screen, like this. And also we'll just check the logging out here. If I just click log here, you will see that it will log button 2 and button 1. I know it's a bit small on the screen, I might zoom in here so you can see. Just logs button 1, button 2, and now zooming back out. So yeah. Now you'll see a problem with this. You'll see that here I can happily quite put a selector in here that is just by itself, with no parameters. If I try and put a selector with parameters, like this, new button with title, that's why that was there before. So you can see if I try and pass in this one here, I can't set its selectors. I can't type in at button 1, and if I do, it just gives me an error. As you can see here, it just gives me an error. So I can't do that, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't see how I can pass the selectors in. Now that's what my next tutorial will be teaching you. It will be teaching how to use NS invocation, which is a way of being able to set the selectors for the buttons and stuff using an NS invocation. So you can see here, that's my next tutorial. That should be there, unless you're watching this on the day of release, or it won't be there. So go check that out if you want to know how to do that. So thanks for watching this tutorial. Any questions on this tutorial, don't forget to post them in the comments below or send me a message. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at FailcakeApps, where I'll be posting all the news and stuff about whatever I want to post about, and tutorials and stuff. And don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. So again, thanks for watching, and see you in my next tutorial.